What's going on, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. All right, we're going to take a look at Litecoin. We're going to look at both the Litecoin USD and Litecoin BTC price action. So we'll take a look at those charts and look at the halving event. We'll take a look at crypto dominance. We'll see how that's setting up. That'll affect LTCBTC. We'll also take a look at the tether chart that plays a part in the inflows into Litecoin. All right, guys, here's a Litecoin chart, 30-minute. I just want to show you on the moneymaker. I'm not cherry picking. These are just where the moneymakers fire. So some of these work out decently. Some of these would be either a break-even trade or small stop. But you can see where you get these percentage chunks of moves. The first initial move was here at 3%. Ultimately, that tops out at 6% and change. This one here yielded 7%. We can move through the chart. This last area here, this one probably either you moved your stop to break even or you stopped out for a small loss. This one popped up for almost a 2% gain, and you may still, depending how you play these, we say move your stops up to break even relatively quickly, or you place your stop at the nearest low. And if you're still hanging out there, you're still in this trade because you have another confirming signal. So I just wanted you guys to see how these work. They're not all 100% winners, but by and large, they win more than lose. And, this is a great way of chipping out those gains day in, day out, especially when you're in a market that's going down, right? Most of the altcoins are trending down, but it doesn't matter. In the smaller time frames, you have mini uptrends and you can take advantage of those. So if you're interested in this indicator, guys, head over to tradelikeagenius.com. You can use promo code July 4th. If you're just interested in the indicator, that would be up in software and the moneymaker. Okay, so useful tools to be chipping out profits day in, day out on all the various cryptos that have volume. All right, guys, let's dive into this video and check out Litecoin.
Trade Genius.
Okay, guys, Litecoin USD. So here's a chart showing us our halving. Vertical lines, red lines are our halving events. So what I'm looking at, guys, is this move here where we came up, weekly chart. This is back in before the first halving. Notice the type of candle that we have here on the weekly. This is a blow off weekly candle, long wicks. That's what you want to see. And these moves happen quickly. This is where the LTCBTC ratio spikes and you get your high point reading, and that usually will end the move for Litecoin, and then it'll go into a period of pullback and consolidation. So we haven't really seen that price action on the weekly, and that's what we're keying in on as we get closer to this August halving date. Typically through the halving, guys, and this is for Bitcoin as well, you shouldn't expect much fireworks through that. Typically, you will get a pullback to sideways action. So again, all of this stuff is kind of like before the actual event, and this is where you get the most appreciation. Last time this happened, we were looking at a 750% increase. So we're not anywhere near that right now. Also, you'll notice where price was performing relative to Bitcoin. Litecoin was outperforming in percentage terms. So that's a little bit different this time as Bitcoin is a lot stronger. But again, this whole move, I think that we saw this bottoming in the crypto markets, I think you have to attribute that to the Litecoin halving coming. Litecoin did start moving up before Bitcoin back toward the end of 2018. As you notice here, percentage-wise, Litecoin led the charge, and then Bitcoin caught up and has surpassed on percentage terms. So I do, definitely expecting another surge higher. Obviously, we've pulled back a little bit here, and we're at 118. This is a decent support area for Litecoin to recharge its engines, but I think we still looking for that 175 upside target. And guys, it could actually surpass that and overthrow it, because once you start getting up into these levels, there's not a lot of price history, so you could get some really rapid price discovery that runs up there. So again, we're kind of looking for that blow off top type move. And with Litecoin, I mean, look what happened here at the peak of the market. We went from, in 1 week, a low of 143.20 to a high of $313. I mean, that was over 100% increase in 1 week. So that's the kind of things that can happen with Litecoin. The setup for this hasn't changed. This still can happen in this market. In fact, there's even more inflows now. So we could go past that 175 mark that we've been eyeballing for several months now. Remember, in the room, we got in down here in the high 20s, around $28 or so. So that's big picture stuff. As far as drilling down to kind of like the lower time frame stuff, so we've got some horizontal lines for support and resistance. Currently, this 120 area has been, basically an area of support, and easily could be the launching area for the next move higher. If we take a look at the current ranges that we're dealing with, we can draw a fib on that. So essentially from this low here to this high with this fib drawn, we're at right around that 382 retrace, okay? And we've basically got now a fib extension target on this move here of 165.38. Not much in the way of a short fib, though we can draw that. Okay, so there's your short fib, and what we did is we came up, hit the 0.705 area, and have rejected down. Now, the extension on this is 102. I think that would be, if this were to drop down to that point, I think that would be a big time buy. But I think what you're going to see is probably more of a consolidation type move following along with Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks very much like it's primed for more upside move. So if we look at things on the dollar terms like Litecoin USD, Bitcoin USD, what we can do is look over at our tether chart, right? And this has been a leading indicator, right, of inflows. So as tethers come into the market, get printed, or our dollars convert over to tethers, get printed, this usually is an leading indicator. And as you can see, once again, we're doing another surge higher. And whenever we have a Bitcoin consolidation in this current parabolic structure and we see these moves higher, we can expect another surge higher. So this is looking extremely bullish for both Litecoin and Bitcoin in USD terms. So I think there's probably a good possibility this 382 level will hold, and then we can start progressing toward, we're going to start probably seeing resistance around 155, but this 165 target should be tagged, and then we'll see what happens. If Bitcoin consolidates and makes a fifth base in its parabolic structure, which we talked about in the previous video and we'll update later in a couple of days, but then I think this 165, you might see some consolidation up here higher, and then one final thrust out is a scenario that probably has a decent probability of playing out. But again, guys, I think we're waiting for that final weekly blow off like we saw before the previous halving, and I think that'll be a fitting end to this move that we've been in for several months now. Okay, so let's look at the LTCBTC side of things, and for that, we're going to look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. So here's our Bitcoin dominance chart. These are the candlesticks. This line represents most of the alt market, so it's always going to be inversely correlated. Bitcoin dominance goes up, and the value of alts goes down in Bitcoin terms. So we have another thrust up, another decent move down in alts, although they're trying to form a base here, which bodes well for the LTC BTC trade, which will launch here. And I think you let this month of July play out, and I think we're going to see some fireworks as far as that valuation is concerned. However, that being said, you want to be careful when you see this happen here. And what that is you got your main trend line, all right, of the stochastics holding up, and we have a deviation here with the RSIs. And so what happens is this can create a snapback effect. And so what you'll get is like a consolidation, and then boom, another thrust higher in BTC dominance, which would make sense. If we got tether piling up, we should see another thrust in the BTCUSD and LTCUSD values. However, that will keep the LTCBTC value suppressed for a little while longer. Okay, so flipping over to the LTCBTC daily chart, and basically on this, we're pressing into the outer limits of this fib zone, which the outside of this 0.705, I look to erase that zone as being violated. It is hanging in there. The extension on this is 0.236 in terms of BTC. I still think that that's completely doable. At the very least, I think we see somewhere north of 0.02. Now, historically speaking, that puts you in the area where you typically would sell Litecoin in regards to this low to high channel that it bounces around in. So, bottom of the channel is a big time long-term buy. You just accumulate there. And as you get a move up towards the top of it, you want to start shaving off that position. And so that move up in April, was a take profit. However, because of where we are with the proximity to halving, you have to anticipate more upside moves, and so that pullback there was one to be bought, and I think this pullback's one to be bought as well. So give this time. I think you're going to see more basing here, especially with another USD surge in Litecoin and Bitcoin. And then I think you're going to see, as we get closer to this, though, that Litecoin USD appreciation is going to spike, and that's where you're going to see a spike in this value here. But definitely the next move up on LTC BTC is probably a longer term take profit, and then lay off that trade and let that pull back and consolidate and find better value in this low to high channel that we're in. So that's the update on Litecoin, guys. I'm still very bullish on it. I think we got one more really good move left before the halving is done. If you guys are interested in joining us, please head over to tradelikeagenius.com and check out our products there. Otherwise, guys, please hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.
Trade Genius.